Welcome everyone to this episode of Notes with Jack. Make sure we're on. My name is Alan Fox. I'm here. This is episode 20, and I'm here with the director of the 1970 production of The Importance of Being Earnest at the American Conservatory Theater. And his name, as you all know, is Jack O'Brien.
Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
His name? Yeah. That was my first. My first passage out from underneath Ellis and APA and the birthing channel that spawned me.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned this the last time that Ellis Rabb, my mentor, was invited by his best friend Bill Ball to come out to the coast to do that production. And he said, "Oh, Bill, we've done all these shows. So other younger people, you should get Jack to do it." And he did. And then that's how I met Marsha Mason. That's how the whole
Who's
thing.
one of your closest friends now.
Yeah.
Who we'll maybe talk to one time on here on an episode. But
it'd be cool. Yeah.
So is that what you remember about the production? Like, what did you take away from that first time sort of being outside? Because we're going to talk about, this is going to be called Mentors Part 2, where we're going to finish up with our conversation from last week. And I'm curious, the first time you're outside of the, as you so eloquently put it, birthing channel, the first time you're outside of that, what does it feel like kind of being up there directing? Do you remember?
Well, the first thing that occurs to me is the difference in artistic directors, Bill and Ellis, being sort of twins in an odd way, on opposite coasts, doing both of them having the energy and the willpower and the desire to create their own companies, which nobody does anymore.
Yeah.
And repertory companies and plays, doing classical plays and all sorts of stuff. So Bill made all the choices for me. He chose my designers. Actually, that's the first time I met the great Ann Roth, because Ann Roth was doing clothes out there for him.
Yeah.
And I had a great session with her. I'll never forget it. We were talking about character, and she was talking about Miss Prism, the character. Do you know this play at all?
I just glanced over. I glanced over it.
Well, she's a sort of spinster woman, and she's a secondary comedy character. And she said, "I'm going to give her a little scissors to wear at her waist on a ribbon, so he can go snip, snip, snip to people's balls," which I thought was kind of fabulous. Yeah. And then she got called to a film or something, as Anne would in those days, and Bill chose everything. And that was the antithesis of the way Ellis worked and the way I evolved as an artistic director, which I did. Of course, I had suggestions and opinions, and an artistic director does.
Yeah.
But also I tried to always take the guest into my consideration. Not Bill. He made all the decisions.
Did that ruffle your feathers at all?
Well, I was so flattered to be there. I mean, I would have done anything.
Right.
And the odd thing was, excuse me, because he and Ellis had been in school together, literally, Carnegie Mellon, Carnegie Tech in those days, as schoolmates, as pals. He granted me a kind of, I don't know, I had a free pass. I mean, I actually stayed in his apartment, and he treated me like a contemporary, which I wasn't. And I think he just made a sort of transference, because if I was that close to Ellis, I should be that close to him. And I made him laugh. I mean, I love to make him laugh, and I was funny, and so it was a very different and entirely different environment from anything that I knew. Bill acted very much like a kind of spiritual leader. He was he wore white. He kept his distance. He was mysterious. He was extravagant.
Just because I'm kind of curious, like, what typically the role of an artistic director? I mean, for anyone listening, it's like, as a director, you're sort of serving the greater vision of the company, of the theater, whenever you're hired. And so does the artistic director kind of set that tone? Like, I know you're saying Bill picks all these things, but like, because you were the artistic director at the Globe for so many years, like what would you define that position as?
Well, you see, I learned from Ellis, from John Houseman, and
Yeah.
eventually from Craig Noel, who I took over from at the Globe. I watched how they did, and
Hmm.
a lot of I've said so many times, the great thing about mentoring, the best thing to do is be as close as you can be to the best person you know,
Hmm.
and watch them work and watch them fail, watch them get up and try again, watch them come up with ideas. And so I was very much influenced by the people, by John and Ellis and Craig, and I suppose a little bit by Bill. But Bill was so antithetical to all that. He was so much. I mean, he
Yeah.
would do things like he had a vanity plate on his car, ACT,
Sure.
right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Wait, what did your
he
license plate say? I know you had a vanity plate in San Diego. What did your
never
license? I
did,
know you
never did.
really. What a
No,
missed opportunity, man. I feel like you're a. I don't know. I could see a coda on the back of your car or something. Nothing like that. I'm teasing, but I guess maybe you're not a vanity plate guy. Maybe I misjudged you.
well, I've always wanted to do one, but I couldn't come up with anything that very much worked
Sure.
for me.
Okay.
But Bill
Okay.
would Bill would park his car on Geary Street in the front of the theater in a no parking zone and leave it there. And
Hmm.
so he had hundreds of dollars of parking tickets that he didn't
Yeah.
pay.
Yeah.
I mean, he just thought, no, I'm the artistic director. I take care of me. I never thought that.
That sounds like a guy that would want to make all the decisions. It's like how you
And
do
he,
anything's how you do everything. That guy would want to choose everything.
Also, he started out as a designer. Maybe that tells you something, because
Sure.
designers and choreographers,
Yeah.
as feed for this kind of job, they're
Yeah.
people who are very clear about what they want.
Yeah.
Stage managers, which is the other pool from which artistic directors developed,
Hmm.
are accommodators, are people making people comfortable and making it go and making it smooth.
Yeah.
So there's a whole different sort of mindset there, you
It's
see.
so interesting always hearing you talk about these positions in the theater because it is so different in the film business, right? It's like in the film business, the director is king and they sort of serve their vision. And honestly, like even though producers are kind of a little bit higher up the food chain, it's the director's game basically. And it's so interesting because I know when I first met you, you said your job is to serve the writer. And obviously you're also helping serve the artistic director. Like it's just interesting because in the theater, the director is kind of I don't know. Like it's just interesting always to hear the way the
Well,
pecking order works.
I just love that what you uncorked in me when I was just sitting here thinking, there's no handbook as to how to be an artistic director.
Hmm.
There's no, when you look at the people who've done it,
Yeah.
Margaret Webster, Eva Le Gallion, Tyrone Guthrie, Ellis, Bill, Gordon Davidson. There's a realm of Mark Lamos, Danny Sullivan, Mary. I don't know Mary Zimmerman. I don't think, but Francesca Zambello. I mean, men and women. I'm just thinking, how do you know what to do? Because the thing is, well, I mean, really,
Yeah.
because you're responsible to the board of directors.
Yeah.
You're a figurehead that has around which money is being raised.
Yeah.
At one point, I think I was the number one or number two money raiser in San Diego.
Oh, I'm
That-
sure.
That came out.
Yeah.
Because I was good at that. I could do that.
Did you have any like tips or tricks for raising money? Like what was your also, you know what? If we're going to talk about your time in San Diego as an artistic director a little bit, I think you got to tell the story about when you made the Queen of England laugh.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my favorite stories. So why don't we say that? Well, actually, I don't want to get too. We'll tell it at the end of the episode. I want to get in. Was John Houseman Was he
Artistic director?
An artistic director? Yeah.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
started working with him.
Sure. I mean, John, don't forget. And I was lying in bed knowing that we'll probably have to talk a little bit about this. And the thing about John was he was a generation ahead of Ellis. He was
Right.
older. He was more like my father's age. I mean, I don't really know now that I look back. I was between 30 and 40. John was he was in his 70s probably, I would think. He started out, he was Romanian.
Yeah.
He ended up in London, which thought of himself basically as a Brit. He was a business person.
Yeah.
He wrote a wonderful autobiography called Run Through that has a lot of this in it.
He looked very stern. I was looking at his photos in comparison to Ellis's before we got on today. And Ellis looks like, a sort of like artistic kind of madman. And John Houseman looks like if you don't pay the rent, he gets really upset.
But
you know what I mean? Like,
here's the cool deal. John stuttered as a young man.
oh,
and
wow.
He had to overcome it. And the way he overcame it was this way. He looked over your head. He never looked you in the eye, and it was all pre-thought. And the only time I ever heard him stutter is that when he won the Academy Award for Paper Chase.
Wow.
He got up to give the speech, and he actually stuttered.
Yeah.
But so what happened was, at one point he cornered the grain market. I don't even know what that means. Do you know what that means? I don't know what that means. It's very important, obviously.
Yeah, if you say so.
I know, me too. Then he met Orson Welles, and they together they did the Mercury Theater. He was like Orson's producer.
Yeah,
and they were very close. They did the Cradle Will Rock. They did the Macbeth, the Voodoo Macbeth. They did a lot of stuff together, and then they went to Hollywood. They were at Hollywood together.
Yeah.
And the story is Chasen's Restaurant. They ended up with Orson Welles crossing Chasen's Restaurant and flinging a flame, one of those food warmers, across the restaurant at Houseman in a booth.
Wait, why?
He hated him. By that time.
But they were. Oh, okay. They had their falling out.
Well, everybody's
right.
Money and art.
Yeah.
Then
leads to a lot of falling outs.
Always, it always happens.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the end of them.
Right.
And the ironic thing is that Houseman, who was not an actor, got his Academy Award for The Paper Chase.
Yeah.
Before Orson Welles got his. That must have.
Talk about really coming back for throwing that burner at you.
Yeah.
But wait, okay, so let's pick it up. So you meet Houseman after he's ducked Orson Welles' projectiles.
Yes.
So you're in your 30s, he's in his 70s.
He's run the American Shakespeare Festival in Stratford.
Yeah.
He's produced films, The Bad and the Beautiful. He had a major career as a Hollywood producer.
Right.
On some of the great shows Houseman did out there.
Right.
Produced them in your work, more knowing what you're talking about earlier than what I'm talking about now. I mean, And he and Joan crossed America. They kept moving in Los Angeles, then they got back to New York, back and forth, and eventually he's asked to head up the drama division of the Juilliard School when it's reborn there in Broadway, on Broadway.
Okay.
With a new building. And he and Michel Saint-Denis, a famous French educator, they headed up the drama division. He hired Michael Kahn. He hired Elizabeth Smith to do voice. He hired Margot Harley as his assistant. I think she was a Graham dancer, if I'm not mistaken, Martha Graham. I mean, they all knew each other.
Yeah.
John was involved with Martha Graham. He was involved with all of those people.
It's interesting, just not to cut you off, it's interesting so I listened to you tell me about Ellis, and I listened to you tell me about John. Everything about Ellis was how he arrested you creatively. He lit this spark in you. Everything you've said about John, you could also say about like Henry Ford. You know what I mean? It's like everything you said is from a business sort of acumen. Is that what you learned with John? Is it more of like that kind of, because then you go on to be the artistic director where you lead San Diego in raising money while also delivering these great productions. It kind of feels like the two of them had a baby and out popped you of the way that they
That's
maybe
sort of
did their
true.
jobs. Yeah.
That's not true because, as I've said, John was the one who orchestrated getting me a play in
Yeah.
APA.
Yeah. Yeah.
He maneuvered. He saw that coming, and
Mm.
he saw that I had talent. He picked out the play for me, the Cockadoodle Dandy. I didn't know Sean Casey. He
Right.
picked it out, and he said, "That's what we're going to do." Coda's barking. Coda.
Yeah, sure. Well, Coda didn't like Cockadoodle Dandy. She thought it didn't serve you. She disagreed with John on that one.
Roosters and hens and cocks and stuff. They're a real
Right.
problem for her.
Sure.
Anyway,
Sure.
Anyway,
Sure.
John validated me. John
Yeah.
was he knew talent when he saw it.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one that he recognized.
Did he give you more? Because I know firsthand how important it is when someone, because we talked about it a little bit last week with Ellis, right? Where you have someone that's sort of the idea of like, someone's always harder on their son than they are on the other kid in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe was Ellis not as validating and then John came in and was more validating? Because I know I've had that experience, and it's kind of nice to suddenly get more of that reinforcement if you've been longing for it from someone else. Do you know what I mean? Like, was there a bit of that going on, like in the way he treated you?
How the way John treated me, or Ellis?
Just like, was John more, like you've said, like you felt like John really saw you, whereas like Ellis just basically you hung around long enough to be able to kind of get under his wing.
I think Ellis was all about himself.
Yeah.
And so was Bill Paul. I mean,
Yeah.
They were visionaries. John was like, what do we do if Ellis gets sick? Oh, there's Jack. I mean, he had that business thing of what's next?
Yeah.
How are we going to keep this going?
Yeah.
What if there's a problem?
Yeah.
He had that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Ellis didn't ever think that way. I mean, Ellis was going to be young forever. I was sitting here thinking there was a transition when finally I graduated, when Ellis had moved me on to Bill Ball and moved me on to Craig Noel, and I was now out there on the road, and I was doing, and APA was no longer happening.
Yeah.
And I was getting jobs and Ellis wasn't. Or Ellis was quitting things and they were falling to me.
Yeah.
If you can't get Ellis, get Jack.
Yeah.
And then came Porgy's Best, which came out of total left field.
Yeah.
And put me on the map and was a huge success.
How was Ellis, and how were you treating Ellis during that time when things were falling to you or they were coming to you?
That's what I'm saying. There was a period of time when it felt he was not proud of me. He was proud of me.
Yeah.
And he was very he always said really good things, very positive things, and to other people about me in that respect. But there was a period of time we were sort of peers.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I mean, the world started to sort of eat him up a bit because of the drinking, because of the mood swings, because of the bipolar thing. He didn't take care of himself. He was extravagantly sort of bad about that. And then, of course, I fired him, didn't I?
Yeah.
And he never forgave me for that. He never
Do you
did.
remember during that time? Because I don't know. This is something that I think everyone can relate to. When we have relationships with people, and then as we grow, we change, and like our identity changes. But then we get, like, when we see someone from the past, we try to play that old role.
Don't you hate that?
Well, I always feel like I always have this image in my mind of like trying to put on like a suit jacket that doesn't fit anymore, where it feels like I'm in. Did you feel like that with Ellis? Where like, because you obviously, I mean, look, we're going to spend over an hour now talking about, your mentors. You've written about them. Like, obviously I can tell in you're so excited and almost desperate to be able to kind of justify the fact that they really helped give you a start. And I actually think that's really, you know what I mean? Like, I feel that way with people in my own life. But during that time with Ellis, was it like what was that? How did you navigate when you knew I'm not this person anymore? I'm not the guy planning the parties for your company anymore. How did that, do you remember any of that?
Yeah, because you're always that. I mean, even before the great schism,
Right.
We would be together. I mean, we would flip into that routine. We were very close.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was a very intimate collaborator and enabler and
Yeah.
confidant.
Yeah.
And as Rosemary Harris said to me just a few years ago, I don't know how you did that. How you were able to do that.
And slip not back into that old jacket.
And well, also not betray anybody.
Right.
I never betrayed her.
Yeah.
To this day, I worship her.
Yeah.
She's, curiously enough, Rosie, in her 90s now, was there at the inception. She was. Yeah. She's the witness.
Yeah.
The longest living witness to how it happened.
Yeah.
She was there in the room, as they say, and saw me do all of this.
Do you ever think that, because sometimes I wonder, I don't know, let's say in the past year or two, I've actually come to the realization that, do you think maybe if you're trying to fit into that old coat with Ellis after you've outgrown it, that it almost makes him feel worse? And I don't mean it's like have you ever been on the other side of the coin with where you've been more like Ellis? Because I know I feel like I've been on both sides where I've seen someone changing and growing or like catching their lift off, and I've been sort of watching them go, and like when they've tried to treat me in the ways that they used to treat me, it's almost made me feel worse because it's almost like rubbing I don't know how to explain it. I think about it in my own life a lot about whether or not, like, what is the right way to handle that, because we all go through that.
Well, I look at those people, the men and women that have worked with me.
Yeah.
Starting with John Rando, who got his Tony before I did.
Right.
Matt August, who runs these 2 theaters in Arizona.
Yeah.
Matt Lenz, who still works with me, but now has his own sort of entire organization up in upstate New York, who's there right now, planning all that. Adrian Campbell Holt, who's almost a family member of mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that these people are succeeding.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I sort of forget that I did something there. And I think it's because of how well it worked out for me. I mean, it worked out so well for me. Yeah. I had the greatest postgraduate training of anybody of my generation.
Because you and Houseman...
Period.
Agreed. You and Houseman never had that schism, right? Because I can see how, when we talk about the narrative, right? It's like Ellis sort of, like you said, life starts to eat him up. And so that in that relationship with Ellis, perhaps it's more a reflection, obviously, it's more a reflection of him than it is of you. But like with Houseman, and then as we like get into Craig Noel a little bit, like they were very I mean, I'm guessing that it was still a similar sort of thing and very supportive all the way through, right? It's like life didn't eat them up, so your relationship also didn't suffer.
I behaved always like a son to John.
Yeah.
I mean, because that was not so much Craig, not so much Craig, not Ellis.
Yeah.
But Houseman was a father figure to me.
Yeah.
There was no question about it. And I respected him. And he had a huge reputation in those years.
Yeah.
So there was, and he was Olympian. He was not cozy. Yeah. John was not I mean, we were chummy.
Yeah.
I remember I used to stay up South Mountain Road at their house. Joan's room was off the kitchen, like a little cell, like a little nun cell. She had this beautiful little room of her own off the kitchen. Right. John's bedroom, their bedroom, was upstairs. Right. Yeah. And the guest room was next to it. And we shared a bath. Sure. And so John would get up in the morning, and he was a huge man.
Yeah.
And he would bathe. And I would hear this huge splashing around in the bathroom, and I think, what is going on in there? And then he'd dress and go down, and I'd go into the bathroom, and the bathroom was a immaculate. There was nothing on the floor. I thought, what has he done?
Right.
Now, this is also a marriage thing about John and Joan.
Yeah. And Joan's his wife. Just quickly.
Joan
Tell us a little bit about Joan.
Joan Houseman was French. She was born in Paris. Her mother was Russian. Her father was American, Jack Courtney.
Uh-huh.
She was beautiful.
Okay.
She was married to a count when she was like in her late teens.
Well played.
They went together up into the mountains, and he wanted to be a soldier of fortune. He went down to fight in Spain. They never divorced.
Wow.
Guy, what was Guy's last name? Foucault? I think so. He was a count. Then Joan went back to Paris. She became a Dior model.
Sure.
She went to America. She got off the boat, was the first woman in America to wear the new look in the 40s. She got a job at the desk at the Museum of Modern Art. She met John Houseman, who had just broken up from the actress Joan Fontaine. He liked the cool blondes. So he had an affair with Joan Fontaine. He brought her east, took her to New City, South Mountain Road, to the house. She took one look at that house in the road, in the woods, got a taxi, back to the airport, went back to L.A., never saw him again. John married Joan. She bore him 2 children, 2 sons.
Right.
When Guy died, the coronet...
She's still married, right? She's still married.
She's still married.
She's never got a divorce.
No.
Yeah, but the bathroom was immaculate in L.A., so she decided to stay.
I suppose. Right. John used to say in the morning, shall I leave my bathwater for you? To Joan.
Wow. Okay. All right, so let's fast forward to that.
She found that very moving.
In a weird sort of way it is.
It doesn't work for me, but isn't that odd? People's lives.
Okay, quickly. All right, so great. So let's go to Craig Noel quickly as well, because he hires you at San Diego, right?
He's
the third in this trio that we're trying to get through.
Craig had as a guest in his theater, first Bill Ball.
Yeah.
As an actor, because he found him at Carnegie Mellon.
Okay.
And Carnegie Tech then. And Bill was a favorite of Craig's for a while. And Craig tried to take the theater away from Craig. Went to the board of directors silently and said, let me get it. And Craig banished him, threw him out of the theater. And I was able to reconcile them 25, 30 years later. I made them friends again.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Craig hires Ellis to come and act and then direct.
Okay.
So Craig was like a training ground for these graduates, these extraordinary young men who had an appetite for classical theater.
At the Old Globe in San Diego.
At the Old Globe. Craig created in 1935, when that theater started in Balboa Park, Craig was an actor, and for a while, I think he worked for 20th Century Fox as an acting coach, but he never really left San Diego. Yeah. And sooner or later, he took quickly over that theater, and he ran it until he died. Basically, I replaced him. I misplaced him. I unlaced him. We sort of worked together. I remember there was a day when he asked me to come out and take over. And my agent at the time said, you have to decide who's making the decisions. Right. You just have to have that conversation and say, which of us is running the show? Huh. I remember going to Craig's house, sitting by that great swimming pool. We talked for 5 hours, and I left, and we never decided, and it never came up. Never came up.
So what did you learn? What did you learn from Craig that Ellis didn't offer and that John didn't offer? Do you remember something where you're like, you know what, like I'm glad Craig was there to help, push me that next level.
Craig gave me the last great lesson, which was just to be myself and not to think about impressing, not to think about an effect, not to pose, not to pretend, not to play a part, just to be me. He was adored in that city. They loved him. He was obviously gay, although he never talked about it. There was always some young kid, some young man, and he was always with someone. They didn't care. That very conservative naval town, they loved him. And I'll tell you what he taught me. I used to go out in the early years, in the early 70s, when I was a guest. And there's the opening day. And Craig has everybody in the theater and the offices and everybody into the theater. And he is hilarious for about a half an hour. And I mean, self-deprecating, hilariously funny.
Yeah.
Introducing basically all the things. Here's Alan Fox, here's Jeremiah Maestas, here's Coda. Here are the people who are going to be part of this. Welcome. Yeah. We're going to have a wonderful time. But I was I couldn't believe how he was so natural. He was so completely himself.
Yeah.
And Ellis wasn't. Ellis was himself.
At the time of Craig, were you out kind of publicly, or was that still something you were also?
I'm not out yet.
Right. Well,
Today's the day.
Today.
I'm counting on you to help me do this.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, come on. I'm a child of the Eisenhower. What are you talking about? I mean, I had to pass. I just had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but seeing Craig be open about it with these people in this naval town, did that kind of give you more confidence to be like, you know what, like, I can also be. I mean, I guess it gets back to being yourself. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And get on with the work.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about yourself. I mean, all of these people, Houseman, Bill, Ellis, all of them were major sort of personas. I've never felt that I was. No. I think I am now. I think I can take over a room if I have to. I could then too.
Yeah.
But not because I thought I had a right to. I've never really understood. I think I've said this to you before. I would be with Ellis, and then we'd come into the theater, the back of the theater, and suddenly we're at the Lyceum Theater, and he's looking at the stage for the first time, right? And the work lights are on, and there's nobody on the stage, and remnants of the set are there, and he's not seen it. And that long neck, and the coat is pulled up, and he's smoking, and he looks at the stage, and he goes like this. And I thought, what does he see? He sees something. I don't see anything.
Right.
I mean, all of those people, Houseman too, they all had an aspect of mystery.
Yeah.
That's one adjective I don't think you'd ever apply to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you wouldn't, would you? Come on.
Right. And you're not interested in it. That's not what you're trading on.
No, I'm not.
Right.
I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
So I've always thought, oh, come on, everybody. When they suddenly say, oh, Jack, blah, 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 blah. And I go, no, I'm not. I'm not that.
Right.
Self-deprecation is my middle name.
Yeah.
And I was thinking today, this is really going to get you. I don't know if it's possible for you to realize that a bald person can have a bad hair day.
Yeah. No, I didn't want to say anything.
I'm having a bad hair day.
Yeah, we're gonna actually have to have a talk with hair and makeup because somebody didn't do their job today. No, man, it's you know what? You have really helped me have confidence in being myself too, creatively.
Really,
that's a role you've really played in my life, and I'm gonna talk more about your role, I think, on another episode. But that yeah. So what you were saying about Craig is really it's interesting.
Yeah. So it was like a finishing thing, saying full circle. You can't be him. You can't be him. You can't be him. You can't be yourself.
And it sounds like you learned that by watching Craig, which is also how I've learned it by watching you, I think.
Well, the other thing is also he was a wonderful director.
Yeah.
And when I took over and was the official artistic director, the first person I hired was Craig Noel. Because he was a really good director. I had to have a group of people I could put my hands on and I knew would not betray me and would deliver a good show. There he was.
Yeah. At any point, were you worried you'd have to fire him? Because, I'm always obsessed with, does the lesson come around? No.
No,
He didn't. Okay, cool.
no,
All right,
no.
well, what I want to wrap up with in this episode is your story about making the Queen laugh in San Diego. Because
Oh,
here we are
okay.
where Craig hired you, right? You're there now. You're stepping into your own, all this kind of stuff. Speaking of owning a room, tell me the story about the Queen of England.
In the lobby of the Globe Theater, there's a bronze, not quite statue, but it's sort of a statue of Shakespeare, sort of coming out of the wall in bronze. It's very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who did it. I don't know who paid for it. Somebody paid for it, but it's very lovely. And the Queen was coming to America, and it's where they brought their boat. They brought the yacht.
Yeah. What year is this? Sorry, just to set
Oh
the stage.
man! Oh man! Oh man! Oh man!
80s, 90s.
I guess Jeremiah. When are we talking about this? This is the Queen's visit. It must be easily. It's the 80s.
80s. Okay.
So I'm there. I've been there a while, like mid 80s maybe.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Yeah, it's probably. And it made it into the papers because this didn't, but the journey did, because she wore a white outfit with little, I think, blue anchors, and a blue hat with white anchors on it.
Okay.
Really, because they'd come on their boat, they'd come on the yacht.
Yeah.
She and Prince Philip.
Huh.
And so they've arranged to have her come into San Diego, come up to San Diego. She's going to come to the Globe. She's going to unveil this statue, which they're going to cover it up and present it.
Yeah.
Then she's going to walk next door to the museum and be nice to the art museum, and then she goes away. Okay.
Okay.
So we're all excited, and we're told what to do. And here's what you. There are a lot of things that you can and cannot do when the Queen is there. For instance, you do not speak unless you're spoken to.
Okay.
And you do not put your hand out unless she does. If you do, you just put your hand there, and she touches it, but you don't shake her hand.
Yeah.
And you do not touch her at all at any point.
Of course not.
So we're all lined up in the lobby, right? And there's Lowell Davies, who's the original sort of producer. He and Craig did all this work together for 35 years. He's in a wheelchair now. His wife is behind him. And then there's Craig. And then there's me. And then there's my partner, Tom Hall, whatever. So we're all lined up.
Yeah.
It's raining in San Diego right away. Not really cool. And down up through the back near the zoo, come February 1983.
Love it. Okay.
Jeremiah
he's on it.
Everybody
you woke him up. He's on
everybody
it.
should have Jeremiah in their life.
We're all not lucky enough.
I
Just
know.
you.
You're not.
I know.
Anyway, thank you very much. 1983. So we're all lined up in the lobby, and the limousine comes up the driveway, and the Queen steps out. The door opens, and the Queen steps out in this blue and white outfit that she's wearing, and the rain stops. But as she goes toward the theater, there's a huge pond of water. Uh-oh. No one knows what to do. The Queen, God bless her, hikes back on her heels and goes through the water on her heels all the way without batting an eye. You think, okay, Elizabeth, way to go.
Right.
So she comes in backstage, and we're all lined up. It's very exciting. We've been prompt. We've been cued in as what we can do, what we can't do, right? So this person with her starts with Lowell Davies in the chair. This is Lowell Davies, the founder, the producer. He's raised all the money. She puts her hand forward, doesn't say a word. He touches her. And then this is Craig Noel, who has been the artistic director since 1935. He's the single director that's been here since the inception. She puts her hand out. Craig takes her fingers. Nothing. She comes next to me, and this is Jack O'Brien, who is taken over for Craig Noel after all these years. She puts her hand forward. I take it. She starts to leave, and she says, "That's quite an accomplishment." The Queen speaks to me. I said immediately, "Nothing compared to you, Your Majesty." And she said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "I'm just directing plays, but you stop the rain." And she laughed. She laughed.
Well, yeah, dude, because there isn't a sitcom writer alive that could have written a better line.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Did it just come out? Like, I mean,
apparently.
we're like, I'm just saying, who's feeding you that? Or you're just.
I mean, no, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was so amazed about her extraordinary lack of, why is there nobody to throw a cape down for me here? You know,
Right,
she just went ahead.
Yeah.
That was the way she was. I was impressed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Amazing, huh?
All right, man. The only multiple Tony winner that can say he made the Queen laugh. I bet that's true.
She's not the only queen I've made laugh over the years.
Like that line, man. Who fed you that one? No, so good. All right, so we'll wrap up there then. We'll close out our episodes about mentors. Thank you so much, Jack. So next week we got a special thing planned, but then the week after that, you're jumping into rehearsals with The Sound of Music, right? Like that's when that gets going.
Yes.
All right,
I'll be in New York as of the 4th of this month, starting
Amazing.
at those rehearsals. I can't wait.
So we're gonna dig into that and be talking about process and all that good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, man. But all right. Well, until then, or until next week, whenever we talk again.
Always fun.
Listen, man. We love you. It's the best. And yeah, we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.